Hello, welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And this is the second match preview of the season. This is Crystal Palace versus West Ham United. Obviously, let's get into the small things first. Make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe if you are new as well. And thank you again for 500 subscribers. I know we hit a week ago, but still thank you again. The road to 1,000 is on. And if you want to follow me on social medias, it's at GVOMikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Trying to grow everything together. But yeah, I had to do this on Thursday night because I will be on a trip from Friday till Monday. So I'll be back Monday afternoon. So I cannot live stream beyond this. I will give you a small match reaction probably on Saturday, but it's going to be a very short one because I will be out. So I will be out of town. So that's why I'm bringing it to you now and not Friday. And for the most part, when I can as well, live match reactions and match previews will be all live this season instead of your pre-recorded stuff because I actually prefer doing the lives now that we've got a core audience to talk to. But yeah, let's get into everything as usual. Like, what are we going to start with? We're going to start with the press conference. We're going to start with Lopetegui's press conference. I'm glad it came out on a Thursday and it wasn't just a one-off the other day where it was only the first game of the season where it came out on the Thursday. But I'm going to read for stuff for the press conferences at first, and then we're going to get into my thoughts. You know, what we do on match previews now is FPL as well. Some of you guys are in the FPL league as well. So obviously you guys would have kept up with that. I don't know why my Mac is bugging out, but give me a second. Big up to Josiah. I want revenge against Palace, so do I. We've needed revenge for about 4 years. It's kind of annoying. But let's get into it. Lopetegui arrived at the press conferences. The first question is on team news. Let's see tomorrow if there are any issues, but for now we have to wait and see. That's interesting. So maybe there's a couple knocks within, the usual training regime, and I'm hoping that I won't be able to watch the game anyway. But I'm hoping that it's mainly our strongest people fit, and we should have pretty much good depth in every position apart from left back and right back. I'd say left back and right back and maybe the number 8 role or whoever plays next to Rodriguez and Alvarez. Those are probably the positions where I'd say that we don't have anyone. We don't have anyone of great depth. So I'm hoping it's not Emerson or Wan-Bissaka. Lopetegui is asked about his preparations for Crystal Palace. It's gone well. We're going to face maybe one of the best teams from the end of last season. That's true, especially at their home. So it's a challenge and we're going to have to be ready. We are working for that and trying to be at a good place for the game. The boss is asked about the new arrivals. In this time before the market closes, for everyone it's still not certain who might come and go. We have to adapt, but the competition is tough. We've tried to adapt with the new players and we have to balance everything and try to be competitive. Yeah, the normal stuff. We've got to try and integrate these players properly. That's why I said to people that we need to be patient in terms of the new signings. We need to be patient in terms of the new signings, and I don't think we're going to get something like top 4, top 6 straight away. That's why I said that if this was all going to go well, then I feel like the theme that we're going to see would be integrate the players in. Then you see the patterns throughout the end of this season, and then we take it into the next season. Then we really put your foot on the neck of teams. Now, don't get me wrong, that it does say a lot about the coaching and how good the coaching can be if Lopetegui can get the players playing his system and his football a lot quicker. That's what previous managers have done with their clubs. But I guess context has to be taken with all of that as well. Next question is on further transfer activity by focus on the players who are here. We all have to be ready, and that's all we're thinking about. We don't want to talk about players who aren't here, although it's true that anything can happen. I mean, that's a typical manager answer. Lopetegui is asked about Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace. Like I said, they were very impressive at the end of last season. We have to be focused and ready for the big challenge we have. We're working on that this week. Big up to yourself, Charlie, bro. Hope you're doing well, as always. Give me a second. Again, my Mac is continuing to bug out. The boss is asked about Edson Alvarez. He's been out for a while. I think he's progressing well, but let's see. Until tomorrow, we're not going to have a clear view of how our squad looks. This is the thing with Alvarez. Even if he's well tomorrow, don't play him. You got Rodriguez there. Just wait until the international break or maybe Man City. As much as we do need Edson Alvarez, don't rush him back. Don't rush him back. Please don't rush him back. The guy gets injured quite a bit. The guy gets suspended quite a bit. He doesn't actually play that many games, but he's one of the most important players within this side, and I've been saying that since Moyes has left. And it'll be very crucial towards the system as well. He pretty much will change the whole dynamic, not the whole dynamic, but a bit of the dynamic in terms of the way we play and stuff like that as well. Like being that linchpin at the number 6 role, sitting in between the centre backs, just kind of passing through and shit like that. Big up to Jonathan as well. Big up to yourself. Hope you're well. The next question is on his reflections on the Aston Villa game. That's in the past, and I think we have to look forward. We have another big challenge against Crystal Palace, but we believe in ourselves, and we have to show our qualities both with and without the ball in a difficult stadium, well, especially if you play the new signings. Lopetegui is asked about how his new signings are settling in. They're not all in the same way because they've been with us for different amounts of time. It's a process. Oh, fuck, you said the word process. I know, do you know what it is? It's quite a normal word in football, but it's just Arsenal fans have ruined that fucking word for me. Like, I'm not going to ever use the words trust the process, and anyone that uses the words trust the process on my Twitter timeline is going to have to get muted. I'm just being real. I'm just being 100% real. You're getting muted if you're using the phrase trust the process because I ain't trying to hear all that PR stuff. I will be patient. You just got to show me a reason to be patient, as I said on Lewis's channel the other day. The boss has asked about the transfer window deadline. What I prefer doesn't matter, but it's true that you have to keep competing in the market while looking towards games. Well, he said before, about he wants players competing in every position, and we're looking for Carlos Soler, which we might touch on later in this video, but I don't think there's anything more to say about it apart from the fact that we're advancing and we're getting closer to an agreement according to, certain outlets. We've got some depressed Chelsea fans in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good as well, Mikes, because I'm depressed after that performance. And big up Warrior as well. I need a stream after that performance. Big up. Listen, like we're here. I'm here to just. Well, this is gonna be my last stream till Monday, because I'm out. So this is the stream you're gonna get. And I watched that Chelsea game. I watched it, and you guys were absolutely awful against Servette. I don't even know what to say about you lot anymore, man. I'm kind of getting sick of seeing you lot in the media. I'm sick of Chelsea news, and I'm not a Chelsea fan. All I see on my timeline is Chelsea news, and I already follow Sky and Fabrizio and all that. And, bro, I don't blame you. After that, especially against Servette, that was a stinking. But no, hell no. I tweeted earlier, does Mudryk get into Servette? Because I was watching that number 17 for Servette, and it pretty much looked like he pretty much shoots the same way as Mudryk and goes out for a throw-in. But that guy was just as effective as Mudryk. Because as much as that guy could go past players and shit, that guy needs to be in like Serie B, League One in this country and stuff like that. That guy needs professional help as a footballer. Like, forget coaching, man. Forget coaching. Like, that guy needs help. That guy needs help. I don't wish Mudryk on my worst enemy. Yeah. Facts. Hey, Mike's big up the 500. Big up to yourself, Wasim. It's good that we hit 500, man. Especially in August as well, after I tried hitting it at the end of the year. The next question is on his full squad. You have to choose one lineup, but the Premier League is very long and all our players are going to be needed. We have to become and manage the situation. I'm hoping that Somerville gets some game time at some point. I'm hoping that Wan-Bissaka and Tadimo start on Saturday, and I'm hoping number 28 will be benched. Simple as that. That's the things I want to see. Everyone knows my opinions on the players that I don't like already. It even says it below my name as you're watching this video as well. I'm sick of seeing the same thing. Don't get me wrong, I won't be watching a game on Saturday because I physically can't watch the game on Saturday. But Jesus Christ, man, I'm not trying to see the same shit again. Lopetegui is asked about the importance of getting a result at Palace. It's a difficult challenge and we have to be ready. We only focus on the game and nothing more. That's the thing. Like, he's saying the same thing now. Of course, it's important. Like, we have to be focused and all that. It's very much in a normal manager mode of we're not going to give the media anything. Chelsea fans are funny. Yeah, some of the Twitter ones are deeply dumb. If I see Souček or Sufa in 11, I'm going to lose my shit. Oh, yeah, same, bro. Same. I think I'm going to get into the lineups as we did in the Aston Villa preview later on. But I think one of them will start. Unfortunately. But I've also got PTSD from the previous manager about how stubborn he is with the certain lineups. So I know that when a player performs like howlers in the game that they're playing in, they're going to they're going to get a game again under the previous regime. So I don't know if that's going to happen again. FIFA Zilla, this is going to be a permanent thing on a preview. So I will get into this. Because I will go into lineup builder. I've got that already set up. So I will do that. I'm going to do every preview. I'm going to do the preferred lineup and what I think Lopetegui will do as well. What you think West Ham need to do better than the last Palace away game? Well, the last Palace away game, you obviously under different regime, different like different setup, of course, as well. A lot of different. Well, I say a lot of different players. Well, the thing is, in the back end of that season, where we lost to Palace, we lost to Chelsea, we lost to whoever at the back end of that season, from the Arsenal 6-0 onwards, it was like we didn't try. So just try and don't get exposed. And what we saw in the Palace pre-season game as well, make sure you're ready for them to go direct, because they were just long balling it to Edouard. But then again, we were playing a weird formation in that pre-season game as well with completely different players. But get onto them, press them, because if you don't press them from the front and you wait for yourselves to press them in midfield, you're then going to start pressing Adam Wharton, who is press resistant, and check Decore and Jefferson Lerma. Listen, if Will Hughes is there, you have more of a chance, but they've got a good structure, so you can't wait for them to pass the ball into midfield because they are line splitting in terms of the way they build up, etc. So what we got to do is just put us on them, pause, and not let them play. Just don't let them play. Don't let them play their game and break them down. Go 1v1 with them every time. Have you heard one of our players got injured in training? Yeah, I think it's due to knocks, though. I don't think it's anything major. I think it's just knocks. There's nothing's been reported of like anything major from what I've seen. And also, unless it's Emerson or Wan-Bissaka, we should have good enough depth enough for someone to come in. In my opinion, we should be prepared by that for now. Yeah, I saw that. That's a weird move. Like, just terms of like, he's not going to get game time. Then he's just going to be flipped for profit. Oh, FIFA Zilla. If it's Kudus, then yeah, it's long. But if it's Kudus, we would still have a front four of Somerville, Paquetá, Bowen, and hopefully Fulkirk, which you'd think that's still good enough. That's still good enough, you know. But it's just Kudus is that special. Yeah, X said it's just knocks, nothing major. You saw Somerville. Okay, so Somerville's in training. Then that's good. Have I? Boss has asked about the possibility of the new players being more involved in Palace. We'll see tomorrow who is ready. Step by step, they feel better and more ready. He's just keeping the cards close to his chest. He's asked about injury concerns. We've had a little problem in the training session, but we have to see and wait what happens. As we said, as we've seen already, like, I think he's just playing mind games with the media as well. So I think everyone's got to take everything with a pinch of salt. And you think with this squad, the fact that it's bigger and better than it's all the time, how it's ever been, we should be feeling a lot more relaxed than we would in these usual situations. Lopetegui is asked about the London derby. The importance of the points is the same for us. We know the kind of things we're going to face at Crystal Palace. We played them in pre-season, so we'll be ready. We have to focus on our strengths and believe in our ability. You better fucking prepare yourself. And yeah, that's pretty much a wrap. That's pretty much all the important things of the press conference. So let's get into the lineups, guys. By the way, what I want you guys to do in the chat, everyone in the chat, well, everyone as a West Ham fan mainly, put your lineups in the chat or what you would line up with against Crystal Palace. But let's get on to the thing, because I've got lineup builder here and I've got all my tabs here. So let me close that one. We'll get on to fantasy football later. But in goal, I don't think I need to say anymore. Alphonse Areola needs to start in goal. Right back needs to be Wan-Bissaka. I don't think I need to say too much with that either. I think we saw how number 5 played. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka is 10 million times better than Vladimir Coufal, whatever he can offer, whether even going forward, let alone defending, for God's sakes, as well. Like, like the thing is with Coufal, he can put in a good occasional cross, but you need to give him a lot of space for him to be anywhere somewhat effective, and that's my problem. He needs space, and in this league, you don't get space. The reason why he was so good in the first season with us is because we counter-attacked and we waited for space to open up, and players don't close down people when they cross. When they against Vladimir Sufa, they figured out, okay, this guy doesn't have a left foot. Let's close him down and shift him onto his left foot. That's the problem with Vladimir Sufa. With Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he can at least find the pass in between another angle, etc. That's the difference between the two. Obviously, at the first centre back role, Jean-Claire Todibo. This guy needs to come in for fucking hell. I hate these sponsors, man. He needs to come in for Mavropanos. Listen, Mavropanos didn't play awful, but play your best players. He's had a training session by now. We didn't sign him and hijack him from Juventus for no reason. And this one makes sense as well. Max Kilman. Autocorrect. Fuck that up there. Man of the match. Probably my man of the match against Aston Villa in terms of the players that we had. So that, for me, it's self-explanatory. It's self-explanatory. And he was just great in all aspects of defending overall. When it came to interceptions, on the ball, playing through the lines, being comfortable in possession, being comfortable in defending, handling the pace of Leon Bailey, etc. Because they've got that triangle of Kamada, Eze, and Mateta. So everyone that is in that defense will have to be on it because they'll try and break us apart. Now, you're probably going to see Bowen and Kudus track back the wing backs quite a lot because otherwise they'll just find holes in between. And Tarek Mitchell and Munoz ain't to be played with. Let's be real. They ain't to be played with when it comes to holding the width, etc. They didn't play great against Brentford, but they played better than we did against Villa. And they seem very prepared. The problem is with them, they just don't have any pace or running behind. They don't have any explosiveness. So we should be fine in terms of that aspect. And if we play the best players that we have already in terms of Wan-Bissaka and Todibo and Kilman and the left back that I'm going to get onto, which is Emerson, then we shouldn't be suffering with players running in behind because they don't really suffer with that. So I think this is self-explanatory. This is our best back four. I'd be worried if Emerson was injured in training. I'd be worried if Wan-Bissaka was injured in training and they couldn't play. Wan-Bissaka and Todibo have no excuse not to start anymore. So I don't. If this manager thinks he can be incredibly patient, even more patient than he should be, then honestly, I'll be flabbergasted. I'll be flabbergasted. That's to say the least. Alvarez isn't going to be fully fit anyway, and I wouldn't rush him. So Guido Rodriguez, I would start in the CDM. I don't think he was that bad. Against Aston Villa. And also, who else do you want to play? That fucking, you're not going to play one of the number 8s that we've seen all the time there in the number 6 role because they are not number 6s. I think this guy didn't do a bad job, by the way, against Aston Villa. I think people probably went too far in both ways. Where I just thought he was solid. I didn't think he was incredibly shit or anything. And also, he's not played in the Premier League before. So the fact that people even getting onto him and writing him off after one game says a lot about some of our fan base. And yeah, you know what's coming, bro. I'm not even gonna like talk about him. I've talked about him in the past 4 videos. So I just want to see the guy benched. That's the thing now. I know you're not gonna like this, Damien, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna play James Ward-Prowse, and I'm talking like right 8 is his position. Like for me, I don't like him in a 10 left wing, etc. But obviously, in an ideal world, I would start Paquetá and Kudus in the same midfield. But I think even against Palace, they play a box midfield, so it's probably dangerous to play. And I don't want to see, who he is play ever again. And Lucas Paquetá, who for the most part did play well against Aston Villa, and we're not going to bench him anytime soon. We're not going to. Why would we? This guy is the man to keep us ticking within this system as well. And also against Aston Villa, for the most part, in my opinion, he played well. It's just a couple of the times where he gave the ball away, which pissed me off because it wasn't like it was under pressure or anything. However, the pattern that you're already seeing throughout the pre-season games, especially the Betway Cup and Aston Villa game, is when we get the ball into central areas, we're making a run from the inside channel when one of our players has the ball at the edge of our box. So we're trying to spread the teams out, pause, in the middle right there. And Paquetá is one of them that can find that pass. So it's like even the wingers can as well, whether it's Somerville, Bowen, and Kudus can as well. But Paquetá will be the guy who can find passes that nobody else can in our team. I would say the only other player that I've seen part like that can pass like him at West Ham would be Lanzini when fully fit, and maybe Pyatt when he was fully fit as well. I say maybe Pyatt, like Pyatt wasn't sick, but you know what I mean in terms of my lifetime. And even then, oh god, hold on, give me a sec. Fucking screen fucking up. Give me a sec, guys. Then yeah, let's just carry on. Let me present my screen again because this Mac man, this Mac is pissing me off. No, as much as I don't want him to play on the left, I'm thinking realistic as well. Mohamed Kudus, I don't want him to start off the left. He didn't. Then again, he didn't even play bad. He actually played really good. But it's just you get them, as I say all the time on these videos, you get more out of him when you play him in the middle or on the right. Simple as that. And I don't get it. We've got to find ways to include Paquetá, Kudus, and Bowen all together. And yes, as I said, I would play in the midfield in certain games as well. But I guess if I'm being sensible, then in the box midfield that Palace play with Eze Kamada, let's say it's going to be Adam Wharton, and it's probably going to, let's say it's Will Hughes from the Brentford game, or they start Decore or Lerma, then it's kind of fucked, isn't it? But let me get onto the player that I'll start front, Nicholas Fulcrook. I just want to give him a chance. Listen, I understood why Antonio started last game, and yeah, I get you shouldn't bench someone after just one game, but I just want to try it. I want players to be integrated within a new team, and I want him to be given a chance because I'm going to be honest with you, I am nicer towards strikers than anyone else. So I haven't been that harsh to Danny Ings at his West Ham, in his West Ham reign. I was nice to Skamaka. I was nice to Haller off camera as well because when Haller was here, I wasn't streaming and stuff. I've been nice to strikers throughout the time at West Ham because I want to give them a chance. So I'm always going to back any striker. Like, listen, I know, ironically, Duran scored against us last week. Even if Duran came in, like, I would have given him. I even said, like, I wouldn't have put the pressure on him to be you know, the starter set like straight away, etc. Let's get into. I'm going to get into your comments quick, but that is my starting lineup. I'm going to get into your comments. Charlie said Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, Areola. Pretty much, this is the team I would start with mainly, but I'm thinking realistic. This would be the team. Yeah, Kilman. Who doesn't love Max Kilman, man? At this point, do I listen to boys and Allardyce or Max? I'll go with my main man, Max. I appreciate you, Damien, as always. Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Saliba, Kilman, Emerson, Rodriguez, Paquetá. Yep. Yeah, pretty much similar team. Well, the same team as Charlie's. Pretty much the same team I go with. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that defense is crazy. Like, let's say we keep that back four, as it is, like as we get them used to each other, which is what we should be doing. That's why the back four needs to start on Saturday. So, game in, game out, they need to play game in, game out, so they could get really used to each other. And then we have a back four that are used to each other. Think about when you've seen teams go through projects and they've developed and then they found their back four, then you see the change in their defense when it comes to structure, off the ball, on the ball, how they play and how integral to how they play in general. So I'm keeping that defense, and that is a solid back four. But listen, I would play Somerville as well, but the problem is you're going to have to probably play both of the two creators, the two main guys in midfield. You're going to have to play the two main guys in midfield, Paquetá and Kudus. And when I mean the two main guys, I mean the two main guys that are going to get on the ball and do something. So for me, for as long as Carlos Soler isn't at the club, and I know that we're interested and I know where that advancing in talks are getting closer to an agreement, etc., we need to start all of them together, in my opinion, to just put us on teams because we've been so used to this pragmatism, yeah, and this manager has a bit of pragmatism within him as well, but we need to get used to getting teams to fear us by putting like our style of play on the other team. We need to take the games to other teams, whether it's the biggest teams or the smaller teams. Like, we just need to put our footprint on things, you know, help let the defenders help each other, but the midfield be structured and balanced, and the attackers help each other, get close to each other, create chances for each other as well. It's the basics of football. I just want to see basic stuff. Listen, as I said, I'm not going to be able to watch the game, but I'm hoping when I'm going online and I'm talking to people that are also West Ham fans as well, they're telling me that you know, we played well and this happened as well. And hopefully we're just getting a win against Crystal Palace. I'm not accepting a draw. People are going to be like, oh, I'll take a draw. I'm not taking a draw. I don't take draws against anyone. I don't care. Now that Jamaican is washed, I think maybe as a starter, but yeah, I think as a bit part player, he can still do a job. But I just want to play Fulkirk for this game. I trust him over Ings, put him that way, but I'm not even against Danny Ings. I only trust Danny Ings and the two up front. Toughest position on the pitch, yeah. For me, a goalkeeper. Obviously, if you was to put me in any of these positions, I would say goalkeeper. Because obviously everything's kind of on you, and you could probably kind of get the full brunt of things. But goalkeeper and striker is probably the hardest positions, I'd say. That but four doesn't need two DMs in front of it. Yeah, that's the thing. I think, especially with, let's say we got the full starting 11, and everyone's fully fit. Edson Alvarez is there. That back four definitely doesn't need another DM. Now, in certain big games, I would understand if you put Alvarez and Rodriguez or Alvarez and Soler, let's say if Soler joins. I would understand it. I would understand it in certain games. But you see in most games where they're not big six teams or the teams that are going to finish around us, put it on them. Just put Ward-Prowse, Kudus, put Kudus and Paquetá in the midfield and put, Somerville on the left, because we need wingers to cut in. We need wingers to cut in and just take people on 1v1. We need explosiveness. We need pace. We need runners in behind. If you put Somerville on the same side as Paquetá, we are living a dream. We are living a dream, because Paquetá is going to find those runs from every angle. He already finds Bowen from the diagonal angle where he passes. If Paquetá just slid a simple ball through to Somerville's going to eat good. We're going to eat good. And then we'll get some points. But whether the manager's going to do that, I'm not sure. Especially when you hear rumours of Somerville taking a knock, which apparently was a rumour of a knock. Even if it is a knock in training, you probably won't play. But apparently, it wasn't even the fact that it was injured or anything, but apparently it's just a knock. But even then, free Guilherme. Like, I'm trying to see Guilherme on the bench at least. I get it. They don't want that many attackers and they don't want to add another centre back on the bench or whatever. For me, you don't need three defenders on the bench. Apparently, it was rumored to be Somerville. That took the knock, but apparently it's just a knock. It's nothing serious. And that was according to people online and stuff. I don't know whether that was true, but that's according to what people said and shit. If I'm going with what the manager would pick, let me get this screen up again. Now that obviously this is the lineup I would line up with. Obviously, debatably, Kudus in the middle and Somerville on the left, if true. But I'm thinking that it's the midfield we've all talked about and what some of you guys put in the chat, what we've all wanted. But I just don't think this manager is brave enough to play that midfield. Just my opinion. Don't think he's brave enough to see it. I feel like he's just going to force Kudus, Paquetá, Bowen to play the same team, so he's going to risk playing Kudus on the left. That's how I see it being permanently. When I saw Kudus on the left in that preseason game, I think it was either Wolves or Palace, and I saw Max Cornet on the right, I was like, yeah, this guy's playing Kudus just because he knows Bowen's going to come in and he's already trying to put him in that position. And the funny thing is, they switched positions like 5 minutes later because Cornet was tracking the wing-back position when Wolves was getting down the left side because Cresswell was useless. But if I'm thinking what the manager's gonna do, then I think he's gonna play someone else. I think you know who I'm gonna say. I don't even know how to take this guy out. But he's gonna play 28. He's gonna play 28. And I have a bad feeling that he's gonna keep either Mavropanos or number 5 in the defense as well. So that's just my opinion. I still think he's gonna play, but that's also, again, as I said, that's also PTSD from the previous manager. But overall, if I'm looking at the game in general, am I confident? No, I'm not confident. I wasn't confident for Villa in terms of winning. I was positive. I was excited. But as soon as I saw the lineup, when I got to the game and I saw the lineup on my phone and I was walking to the stadium, I was literally around the corner. And I was like, no, I'm not confident. Because I saw that lineup and I was like, no. I saw that right side of defense played it like, listen, Mavropanos didn't play bad, but I said in pre-season that him and number 5 cannot play together. they cannot play together because they just leave gaps in between each other. They don't know how to communicate with each other, and half the time it's Mavropanos sweeping for number 5 himself. And what I don't get as well is because apparently Aged and Ward-Prowse are preferred to number 28 and Mavropanos. But why doesn't Ward-Prowse play then? Because he had a full pre-season. And also, why wasn't Aged on the bench? If he's preferred to Mavropanos, why wasn't Aged playing? Because Kilman can play right centre back. So don't give me this two left footed stuff because Kilman has played right centre back his pretty much nearly his whole career. I'll turn on this manager very quick if he keeps forcing bumps in his team. I don't mind asking the bump. Yeah. Say my snap last weekend, 0 grace. Joy is the thing. I said this on Lewis's stream as well. For me to turn very quick would be if we weren't finding outfield goals within the next two. Like, forget, Man City, cool. But Palace and Fulham. Outfield, I need outfield goals. I need goals from outfield. If you're, I will happily be patient with you if you change up the lineup, put it on teams, and we can see something. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see outfield. I want to see us create. I want to see us have shots. I want to see us test the keeper before the 85th minute. That's what I want to see. The sub sent me berserk, honestly. And listen, I get why people are saying Bowen and Paquetá came off because of the international break and blah, blah, blah. Okay, if it's because of that, well, I'm not trying to see the same subs this weekend. I'm not trying to see the same subs this weekend on my phone when I'm looking at the game, but I'm looking at like the Premier League app and I'm seeing the same people come off for the same people that came on. I'm not trying to see that after the international break when we come up against Fulham. But people are going to be like, but it's the first game of the international break. Some players are going to come off this and that. Bro, stop with the excuses. Like, we've got a good future on our hands. It's just, is this guy going to be the right guy to take us forward there? We're going to see in the next few weeks. We're going to see that. And that'll be the only thing that Steiner would have got wrong, would be the manager. Now, and it's going to see the ambition, the total ambition of the club. If it goes wrong and he gets sacked, and we don't get a manager that isn't, we don't pay the compensation for another manager. I know I'm thinking too much ahead. I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. That's what I'm saying. And the squad is too good to get it right. At this point, he wants a player that can compete in, two players that can compete in a position. My problem with the tactics, and watch this on the James Alcott video, that's been stuck in my mind ever since, because I've been watching pre-season and Aston Villa game very closely. It's something he said that he was spot on about, was we don't press from the front really that much. We press in midfield. We don't press really on the defense as aggressive. And that's what fucked us against Villa, because they got the ball to Matty Cash, they got the ball to Lucas Digne, and they saw the channel ball and knocked it down the channel. And at times, that is the weaknesses of our centre-backs that we currently have. Now, luckily, Kilman dealt with that very well against Leon Bailey, even though Leon Bailey has miles of pace on him. Mavropanos dealt with it good at times. I think he grew into the game against Watkins, but this was also Watkins that was also had a lack of match sharpness because he didn't have any preseason. So what we can't do against Palace is have that same tactic, because if we line up with that same tactic, what are the teams going to do against us against that high line? They're going to send the ball long. Luckily, we might have Todibo and Wan-Bissaka who could do good on that high line, who could do close together. But however, let's say it's Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson. This is going to be the first time the whole back four has played together. It's only going to be the second league game that Kilman and Emerson have played together. And Kilman, Todibo, Wan-Bissaka, first game they played together. But you've got to play them eventually. So get them used to each other. So I don't want to hear none of this thing about we're being patient, we're working on minutes. If you want players to get more match sharpness, you have to play them. There's no preseason games anymore. You've got nowhere to hide, which is what I kind of didn't get when I saw Todibo and Wan-Bissaka on the bench. I need to see the first Wan-Bissaka start on my phone this weekend. I need to see this first Todibo start this week. I think Todibo will start. I think Todibo's more likely to start with Wan-Bissaka as well. And no Europe as well. Facts. We've got more time to work on the trading field. You've got more time to work. You've got more time to work every week. Like, the only time you're really getting to get midweek games is the Carabao Cup game. And who can, like, legit, you can field other teams for him for that. As much as I don't want him to field a full-on second team for the Cups, by the way. If you want to build a mentality at this club and you want this to be a new West Ham, I've seen Bowen talk about he wants to win a trophy again this season and stuff like that. And of course, all players are going to want to win a trophy. They're all going to say that. But after winning the Conference League, a lot of the core that are still there, that are still good enough for the club, are gonna be like, we can win more. We can win more. Why not? So you better go for that Carabao Cup. You better go for that. I'm going to that Bournemouth game. I'm not trying to see a loss. I don't want to see a loss. I want to see a team that's good enough to beat that Bournemouth team that will line up. I've seen too many games where we've been knocked out of cups. I've seen the fucking I don't even know who we lost in the Carabao Cup to last time, but we lost to Bristol City in the FA Cup. We lost to Blackburn in the Carabao Cup 2 years ago. And it's the strongest team every week. Pretty much, if you line up with the strongest team every week with the players you have available and shit like that, you've got no excuses. You've got no excuses to get it right. And you can line up with that if you don't have any injuries. So, yes, people are going to be like, well, it's one game. It's one game. Okay. Well, I better not see the same habits in these games then. I'm looking at habits. I'm looking at an outline. I'm looking at direction. I'm looking at what is the start of this? What is the start? What am I going to look forward to in the future that I can see in the early stages? Because as a coach, you could see it with previous coaches of previous teams. That they could get it right. That they can get it right. You see, people aren't gonna like one of my examples, but Postecoglou and Emery are two examples of my recent memory that are coming into teams that are challenging for Europe. It's like Tottenham are underachieving. Cool. But when the Postecoglou and Emery came in, you saw exactly what those teams were going to do, and you saw that they were going to be somewhat exciting. Now, the Postecoglou trade has fallen off a bit because of their recruitment. But you see the difference with this. We've had better recruitment than them. Now, let's use the Unai Emery example. Unai Emery's first game, I don't remember who it was, but I remember Gerrard got sacked in that Fulham away game. They beat Brentford from their caretaker. Then Emery came in and set his standards. Not only did he set his standards, you saw the exact setup he was going to line up with. It was that 4-4-2/4-2-3-1 formation that he always lines up with. And you can see already the patterns in a few games. And you know what that is? Good coaching. It's good coaching. You can see what the team's trying to do already. That is what good coaches do. Even with Chelsea. Dare I say it? Even with Chelsea. Dare I say it with Chelsea? Now, the problem with Chelsea is going to take a lot of time for players to gel, but you see it instantly, the outline of what Maresca's trying to do with the patterns they're playing. The problem is, they ain't got anyone in the final third that's that good. They ain't got anyone apart from Neto that's that good in the final third. Palmer, yeah? Cool. But that's going to take time for them to gel, but you can see what they're trying to do. You can see the patterns they're trying to play. Now, you play your best players, you will help yourself doing that. Big up to Fuego as well. Hope you're doing well. That's my thing. So if you're playing the same old crop from last season and the season before, you're not going to get those results from the players that let you down, including the players below my name, including them too, especially. I'm trying my best, but that's just an example. That's just an example. Just play players in their right position. Just play your best players week in, week out. Just put yourselves on teams. We need to be creating opportunities and testing the keeper before the 80th minute. Because you know when Danny Ings headed the ball into Martinez, that was really the start of us testing the keeper when we were chasing the game. And we had a chance to get an equaliser that game, but we fucked it. But cool, if that is just a one game thing, and that Aston Villa, the first time they beat us in 13 years at our ground, it's just a one game thing, then I don't expect to see a battering. For example, if I see a battering against Crystal Palace, it would tell me all I need to know. If I see the same lineup or a similar lineup against Crystal Palace, that tells me all I need to know. Because you've had the players for a full training ground, unless you're going to come to me with, Sadiba had a knock or Wan-Bissaka had a knock, which I won't believe you, but that would be the only justification. That would be the only justification. And if you watch that game and you're still including certain players for the same week, I'm going to be glad that I'm not going to be watching the game. Supposedly, Lopetegui likes 28. I hope not. I need to see Wan-Bissaka that side, man. Same. That's a minimum requirement. I shouldn't even be wishing for that. Like that's just a minimum requirement. It should just be there. It should just be there. I can't believe that. Let me get this tweet up. Actually, no, I won't get the tweet up, but I saw Rashane Thomas from the Athletic post who West Ham fans would like pick out Sufa Wan-Bissaka. We did not sign Wan-Bissaka to be benched for number 5. We did not sign Wan-Bissaka for him to be benched for number 5. And this is something that I had reservations about. I still do. But God, by God, he's massive, a humongous upgrade. I can't stress it anymore. A humongous upgrade of what we have already. A humongous upgrade. It took us so long for us to get him. He's been playing preseason games. Play him. Play him. Simple as that. Exactly, bruv. He even replied to someone saying, I thought more people would pick number 5. Rashane, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You're better than that. You're better than that, man. Also, you know the tactic. I'm not gonna again. I'm not going on at him. I'm going on the tactic now. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the tactic. You see when it was how 28 was even used last game. He was so far forward ahead of the other 2 centre midfielders. So, oh yeah, Charlie. I'm gonna get onto that. It was like we were building in a 4-4-2 anyway at times, and it was like we're passing short, passing well, and then all of a sudden, whoop, he's there. Let's just lob it up to him. That's not how you play if you want to play possession-based football. You need a third man midfielder to help you. It was not like he was used at that. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, Damien. Like, I'm criticizing him for what he is, but the way he used it was even worse. He was used right next to Antonio. He was used right next to him. But the problem is, we didn't sign all these players for us to play like that. Because this is not Andy Carroll and Kevin Nolan in 2012 under Sam Allardyce. This is not that. We didn't sign all these players for that. The technical director didn't give you all of this for this. So I'm hoping that was a one-time thing. You see, even in the Betway Cup, 28 was played against a normal midfielder. 28 was played against a normal midfielder next to Rodriguez. And even in the first half, he wasn't even that bad. He wasn't terrible. He just didn't suit him. But in the Betway Cup, it was just Paquetá doing his thing. And 28 was playing next to Rodriguez, and the 3 midfielders were doing their thing, and we kept the ball very well. Yes, it was against a side that play a slower level of football that weren't going to be as aggressive, but they were a hard side to break down as they played 3 at the back as well. And that helped everyone. And that helped everyone in possession as well. So I'm not trying to see any excuses. And to me, I don't really want him to play regardless, but the way the manager used it was even worse. If we see the same setup and we see the same 2 up front nonsense, where when it's not really a 2 up front, it's just a guy that's there next to another guy that's there. And what I mean by that is two people that have never played in the 2 up front before with each other. Then it would tell me all I need to know. If I hear from the same people that's the same setup again, it tells me all I need to know. And I won't give you the patience. I'm not going to say J-Lo out straight away. Anything like that. But I'll be closer to that quicker than I've said. I've been saying it since the Celta Vigo game. The first phase is already improved. It's just second and third. Yeah, I agree. I could agree with that, especially after watching it. Even in the Villa game, it wasn't that bad, but just the centre backs needed help. Let me go to your comments. Now, let me get onto this one. Do you see our fan base comparing number 28's 10 passes in a game compared to Haaland? I saw that on Twitter. Majority of our fans are thick. Do you know what pissed me off? Like, this is when you know an argument. Like, this is why I like you lot, yeah? Like, the Damians, the Fuegos, the Charlies. Like, big up to all of you, the Josiahs, etc., yeah? The FIFA Zillas. Because you guys give me footballing reasons for why you think a player is good and why you think a player is shit. You guys give me footballing reasons. You see, when I go online, and it's online, it's Twitter, I don't want to see someone say, but look what he's done for the club when I'm criticizing how a player performed yesterday or the last game. Look what he did. And they show pictures of 4 or 5 years ago. How does that make any sense towards the argument I'm putting forward? Do you know what that is? Arguing with sentiment. It's arguing with sentiment. It's not arguing with a footballing reason. It's sentiment. I don't want to hear sentimental nonsense. I can appreciate what a man's done for the club. I will go far to say they're cult heroes at this club. But you move past life. Like just building on other things. They were good for what we had in a system of what we had. But you move on. Simple as that. That's football, man. And it's just fucking pictures of, but he tries his best. Your best ain't good enough. Your best is not good enough anymore. You're just out of your depth. This is your level. I'm sorry. Oh man, 25 and 5 make everyone look worse. Imagine the centre back and midfielders relief when they're gone. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, obviously, yeah, a lot of CDM to a 9. Yeah, exactly. CDM transitioned the ball from centre back to midfield to 10 passes low. That's the problem because he was used as pretty much the second striker. Every time he had the ball, it was in the air. But when he did have the ball to his feet, it was like, what was the point? Because you're in the final third. Um, just be brave enough to play ball playing sentiments. If you can trust JWP behind the ball, you can trust Paquetá and Enquiries behind it. Yeah, that's the thing. If your philosophy is strictly ball players as well, like we saw this guy play Ruben Neves deeper. I'm pretty sure we can see Paquetá play deeper. Now Ruben Neves, yes, is more disciplined deeper than Paquetá is, but Paquetá and Neves have pretty much played similar positions, believe it or not, throughout their career. Before Moyes came in, to West Ham. Well, before Paquetá came to a Moyes West Ham side, they played similar positions to their career, and I'm just comparing it also with how Lopetegui would use Ruben Neves when he was at Wolves, etc. 10 passes all with his head. That's the thing as well. Like you don't use some like even Allardyce did use someone strictly for their head. Pause. That's a mad sentence actually. Pause on that. But even Allardyce didn't do that with Andy Carroll. At least Andy Carroll was used to chest the ball, and Kevin Nolan was used to sometimes control and like link out with the wingers, etc. At least that happened. Like even if you play the ball in the air to someone that's strictly good in the air, you cannot do that for 90 minutes. One, and you cannot just expect someone to just be good in the air and do nothing with their feet. They still have to be somewhat suitable with their feet. Like Kevin Nolan was a technically gifted player, someone that played that second striker role very well, in my opinion. Not I'm saying technically secure, not technically like mad like Paquetá. Not saying that, but Kevin Nolan could strike a ball, control a ball. That was a proper second striker. But that was also in a different era of football as well. Can't believe we never see Rice as a 6 and Paquetá as an 8 under Moyes. That's the midfield I wanted when we were in that thing as well. Is either Downs or Lanzini to join them, and you could see that in most of my old videos that I'm ranting about that. Because Moyes was the guy who wanted to play more possession-based football and didn't change any of the personnel and didn't give barely any of the new players a chance. Only Paquetá and Emerson Emerson only got a chance after the Conference League final, and Paquetá was there because he loves Paquetá. Like Moyes, like the reason why Paquetá got so much game time as well. If you guys remember when we were advanced talks with Lucas Paquetá, they interviewed David Moyes in the press conference talking about him, and Moyes would never talk about a player that he was interested in signing, but he talked about all the positions Paquetá can play and stuff like that, and how much he adores. He loved him. He absolutely loved him. He loved him. So that's why he got to play all the time. He was one of Moyes' favourites as well. He just wasn't a Moyes player. It's funny when 20 has good games, it would be terrible one for anyone else. Especially if in this system, I hear you. Amount of games we could have sacrificed as 28 for another ball playing sentiment without putting any extra pressure on the back four. The season we finished 14th. Oh my god, yeah. Honestly, like that. Joy as well. Like that crop of players. Like I know it looks bad now when you look back at it, but I believe the Kera right back specifically, Corner if he didn't get the injury, Skamaka if he got the service, Downs if he got a chance. Like these are like Emerson and Paquetá cemented can't, but the other players like should have been used properly. I don't believe it again. And if you look at, I don't have an agenda against again. I keep the same energy of everyone else. I gave him his first season back, especially with the injury and stuff as well. I was very nice to him. It was just last season where he started and he continued that throughout. Pissed me off. Yes, it was in a different system. So we'll see if when he comes in, if he can perform any better. I have my doubts, but whatever. I'm not going to bat an eyelid. I'm not as angry at him as I am with other players in this squad. That's just me being real. That's why I'm so harsh on it, specifically 28 and number 5, because I can at least say that Antonio's credit in the bank and he's coming to the end of his career, and he's done all for the club, and I can appreciate him. With again, I don't even think I'm harsh on him. I just think I say how I see it. The thing is, bro, I think a lot of people did, but he takes too long on the ball, bro. I can appreciate, and I'll take into account the system didn't help him last season. But I feel like if you're a defensive player, I mean, if you're a defender that can't work in a defensive system, how am I meant to trust you in a higher line necessarily? Because that's what I think. That's always been my criticism of him. You see, I remember at the start of last season, the Bournemouth game, Solanke did him. Next game, Jackson did him. He got a red card of Nicholas Jackson doing him. The next game, he didn't play because he got suspended. He got dunked on by Morrison Adebayo the next game. The Liverpool game, he gave away a penalty. For the Man City game, he missed a header in the air. How do you miss a header in the air with the slowest looping ball and then they scored after that? That's what pissed me off about him. That's why I was like, get Mavropanos in. But in the Betway Cup game, he was part of the reason why we gave away that second goal. He took so long with the ball. Took so long. Like, you know, when I see all of these like, forget Tadibo, we've barely seen him. And Mavropanos is fine, yeah. But Kilman is ahead of these two because when I see someone send the ball long, Kilman sends the long ball accurate on the sixpence on their head of the player for the most part. And right into the player's path, no matter how he passes. And he's going to give it away the ball, don't get me wrong, and I will criticise him for that. But the comparison on the ball compared to the other two centre-backs that I'm seeing is very refreshing. It's very refreshing to see from Max Kilman. Now, Max Kilman's going to have times where he's going to get taken down the channel where he's going to struggle as well. Because I've seen that before from him in Wolves before. But maybe with Tadibo next to him, it will cover up his weaknesses, etc. And I do like the signing. I do like the signing. But that's just my opinion overall because, like, with the centre-back thing, all of them have their strengths and weaknesses. With a Ged, for what you're meant to be compared to what you actually do, you're not given enough. You're not given enough. Now, you do show some moments of good ball ability, but good ball playing ability, but come on. Like, I remember when we played long ball football. I remember the exact game, ironically, it was against Crystal Palace, where again was told to go long more. And that was the game where we lost 4-3. And from then, he was just spamming long balls because that was the instruction. And then in the last season, where the season that just gone, bro, the guy was putting in the air for no one. I remember the back of top of the game was when I had enough. I had enough. The back of top of the game away, where we just about won 1-0 when 28 scored at the end, and Maxwell Cornet put a beautiful ball for him to score at the end. 27, I don't know what I'm calling him. Again, gave away the ball, but he had no one on him. He just kicked it at their player. Just kicked it. It just kicked it at their player. I said this to a friend. If Kilman doesn't work out, I will never put emphasis on being a left centre back ever again. That's the thing as well. Like, I believe in Kilman more because he can play both sides very comfortably. So he's very comfortable with both feet, very comfortable with both angles of the pitch, and plays centre back as well. So I think he will work. I just think he will work to a level. I think we'll have to upgrade on him in the future. I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have that conversation, but he's going to have to accept that he's a part of a bigger project and a bigger idea and a bigger picture. That's what I think will happen. Unless Tadibo, when partnerships make centre backs as well, unless Tadibo sends him to a whole new level where he's going to go up a whole new level. So I'm happy with Kilman as well. I'm happy with it. Do I think he's worth the price? No, but I understand why we paid for it. He's a captain of a club that was not far away from us that needed to sell, and the fact that they put a sell-on clause on him as well. Early last season, I remember Agad gave 2 set pieces away, and the other team scored right away. I don't even remember what game that was, but it just that kind of stuff just doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. I'm going to get onto the fantasy football league that everyone's in very soon, but I want to say something real quick. Like the video, people. Subscribe if you're new. If you haven't subscribed already, or share it to someone that isn't subscribed. We're on the road to 1,000. I won't be streaming my match reaction because I'll be out for the whole time from Friday to Monday. So the next live stream you'll get from me will be the GVO show on Monday with Alfie, and we'll review all the weekend games at 8 p.m. on a Monday. But other than that, we should be fine. And also get your questions in a community page or the comment section when this video when this live stream ends for my 500 subscriber Q&A that will be happening next Tuesday. So yeah, needs to get all of that out the way. But yeah, I'm doing I'm doing a 500 subscriber Q&A. I just haven't any time to do it this week, and for any time for the questions to settle in. I've got a few questions that have been given by people on YouTube and Instagram, etc. But we need more, and then I can decide whether I can pre-record it or I can do it live. But let's get on to quickly the FPL update section of the previews. Now, obviously, the Premier League season launched last week, and we were seeing how everyone was going to do in FPL, and we're going to check on it each week. Now, after game week 1, these are the standings right now. So Dante's right at the top with 89 points. He's gone clear. Then it's John Wellman. Big up to Jonathan, by the way. I don't know whether Jonathan's still here, but he's on 72 points. Charlie's on 70. And I'm over here. I'm meaty at FPL, man. Like, it's just long for me. I've made a change, but I can't even remember what change it was. But if we're scrolling down, I am still only 10th. So, but that also counts with joint positions as well. So, Chloe Woodley, you need to fix up, mate, because you're on 11 points. But like that is what the standings are saying so far within the league. But we're going to see how this league develops each week and week in, week out and stuff like that as well. I won't show my team for the second game week, but that is how it's standing right now. You wish you had Haaland this week. Joy as well, like against Ipswich as well. I know a lot of people are going to triple captain Haaland, and that's the thing. Like, if I had Haaland, I would triple captain him. But knowing me, the Mike's curse will fall again, and he won't get any points. Imagine he just doesn't score against Ipswich. You're going to see that stat of this many people will triple captain Erling Haaland, and he got like 0 points or some shit. Like, you're going to see something similar to that. It's just destined. I remember it happened when in his first season, when they battered Bournemouth, he barely got any points. I triple captained him for that game. He barely got anything. Let me look at team news as well. I think Crystal... By the way, let's talk about this quickly as well. The opposition. Crystal Palace have Joaquin Madison and Mark Guehi both linked away with moves, which can help us. Now, what has also been said is that Joaquin Anderson is doing his medical at Fulham right now, so he won't be playing. And Mark Guehi will be at Newcastle, hopefully. Well, I don't know whether that's going to happen now, but maybe they might take him out of the team because of the whole interest. I remember talking with a couple of people to see if people... I think Guehi will play as well. Because they played him in the Brentford game and they were still talking with him. And he's one of them players where he doesn't let the transfer news take over his mind as well. He's one of them players that's just quite level-headed. He's quite happy where he is as well. Then again, so was Anderson. I don't know why Anderson's agreed to come back to Fulham. I don't like... that confused me. Maybe they're offering more money, or maybe he's just comfortable there, just wants to go somewhere else. But even with them guys, they've got Chaddy Riyad to come in. They've got Joel Ward, who, yeah, it's Joel Ward, but he could do a job in the 3 in the back. Chris Richards is still there as well. So it's probably going to be Chaddy Riyad, Richards, and Guehi as the back 3, probably. And apparently that guy's meant to be good, the Chaddy Riyad guy, because he's from Betis and shit like that. Meant to be a good signing. I've never seen him play. Left-footed centre-back. But they've got a few players that are going as well. Jordan Ayew's leaving as well, so he won't have his annually masterclass against West Ham United as he always does. I've seen that fucking goal posted that way he scored against us 5 years ago about 1 million times. Big up to John. Big up to yourself, bro. I just put the FPL group in the chat. You are second in the FPL group chat, FPL chat. So big up to yourself. You've done well the previous week. Obviously, you're 11 points off the top. I bet you're hoping for another sick game week. I'm seeing Crystal Palace fans on YouTube calling Lopetegui week manager. I saw the headline from, I think it was on West Ham Fan TV. I think it was the D Palace guy that went on West Ham Fan TV on Lord. I haven't watched the video, but he's quite... No offense to the guy, I feel like his opinions are quite delusional. Supposedly Newcastle turned their attention to Disasi or the Leverkusen centre-back, Tapsoba, something like that. But apparently they were close to agreeing a price today. Apparently, let me get the tweet up. I don't know whether it's true. I think it's by Keith Downey, who's meant to be reliable or some shit. But I think they're getting closer to an agreement with all of that. I think they're getting closer to an agreement with Palace. Like, I think they're actually close to agreeing to 62 million or whatever it is. By the way, that's he's a great player. Like, he played well in the Euros, and I've been saying he should be starting for England for years. Well, not for years, but actually, yeah, for years, for the past 2 years. Um, I'm trying to get the thing up. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. Let me get it up. I thought I bookmarked it, but that's the thing. I would love for us to win against Palace because I have nothing against Crystal Palace as a club necessarily. It's just their fans. Um, for me. And the reason why I say that is because they were getting cocky. When we lost against Villa, they were like, oh, West Ham season started well. Oh, West Ham transfer window lasted 30 seconds. Then they lost 2-1 the next day. Uh, yeah, it was by Keith Downey. Keith Downey's meant to be reliable as well. Yeah, yeah. This is the thing. I think it's good for all parties. Newcastle need an upgrade on what they have in centre back. I know they signed Lloyd Kelly, but Mark Gay would be somewhat of a statement signing, in my opinion. And if you're Palace, you take 60 million for Gay because you could reinvest that as well. They're going to reinvest that for someone cheaper, and that's a good model. And listen, they're building something good as well. I'm not confident against them. Yeah, yeah. Listen, bro, you're already get like usually when game week 1 starts as well in FPL, it doesn't usually change that much. We've got Jonathan and we've got the two Johns, Jonathan and John in the top 3. So big. So there's a John off. Meanwhile, Thingy's at the top, clear at 11 points. A lot of Palace fans are sausages. The one on Potts channel that is a D Palace. Yeah, I remember watching when I first saw him. I'm nothing against the guy, but I remember when we won the Conference League and Lawless was flexing on everyone, and he was looking like, "Oh, are you even going to finish above Palace next season?" And stuff. Listen, Palace finished below us in the next season. They finished below us last season, but I think they think they're bigger than they actually are. Just a reminder that Crystal Palace have won 0 trophies within within their lifetime. All the major trophies, they've won 0. They've won 0. Uh, but that was the first time I saw him, and I remember Lawless triggered the whole panel. So yeah, Joe, Chris Richards is a good player. To be fair to him, good player. They recruit well, and Dougie Freeman, he deserves a new contract, bro. That man, well, I think he actually got a new contract, but he deserves all the wages at Palace, bro. I mean, I don't even know. Like they think they got ultras. They think they're this big bad club. Their atmosphere is heavily overrated as well. Get a couple goals in. Their fans go quiet. What did you say, Damien, with the super chat? Them Newcastle Villa Wolves became arrogant. They all do, don't they? And they say West Ham become arrogant. I think everyone becomes arrogant in football. So they got to keep the same energy. Yeah, that was the first time I saw him as well. Twerks for Tottenham. I don't watch it much, so I don't know whether he does twice for Tottenham. But what I did see as well, when Express have employed put the fact that we won the behind closed doors friendly before the Palace game where we lost in the preseason, he said it was PR. The guy, for some reason, has this weird hatred towards West Ham. I don't know what it is, mate. I don't know whether it's just because he wants to get at Lawless as well, but I don't know why. There's a group of Palace fans out there that like I don't know their names or anything, but like there's a group of Palace fans online that will go at West Ham thinking we're rivals. We've got the same rivals, Millwall, but your main rivals are Brighton. So stick with the seaside nonsense, stick with them, and you can battle for who's the smaller club. Because we've won stuff in our life. We've won FA Cups. We won, a Europa Conference League, which you would die for. Of course you would die for that, because you've never won it. And what happens at Crystal Palace that happens 10 times more than it does at West Ham? Your best players leave, and you fall off. You are Zaha FC, pretty much. Zaha is the legacy of Crystal Palace for the past 10 years. Oh, really? I didn't. I'll be looking forward to that. Saying West Ham PR, yep. Lawless does live rent free in his head, low key though. Divide Mubama senior trophies 1, Harry Kane senior career trophy 0, perfectly time triggered him. Joy, I think that's one of the first things I posted when we won the Conference League. I think that was one of the first things I posted as banter. Big up Jay Woods as well. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Hope you're doing well. But that's one of the first things I posted was Divide Mubama has won more trophies than Harry Kane. What Freddie Potts has more trophy. Even was Connor Coventry there as well. I think pretty sure Connor Coventry was there. I saw the pictures again today. Connor Coventry was there. these guys have all got more trophies than Harry Kane. And Harry Kane has played for Bayern Munich. He's playing for Bayern Munich now. Let's see if he wins a trophy this season. But Leverkusen is still keeping that gimmick up of scoring goals in the last minute. They're carried on to this season. But let me get the tweet up. Newcastle are close to securing Mark Guehi. This is by Keith Downey as well. Newcastle are this morning edging closer to reaching an agreement with Crystal Palace for Mark Guehi. And this was done today, by the way, 11:15. There is cautious optimism a deal could be struck by the weekend. So if it's by the weekend, will he play? Will he still play? Because that's the thing. Wan-Bissaka was been close to West Ham for fucking weeks, and he still played a pre-season game. But there's also pre-season. There is caution with Palace privately accepting it would be beneficial to cash in now while Guehi's value is high. Further talks have been held over the last 24 hours, and a package of 65 million plus add-on, that's a great deal for Palace, is likely to see a deal struck. This would represent a club record for Newcastle United. Newcastle continue to explore alternatives such as Tapsoba and Disasi in case Guehi move fails. So will he play? This is the thing. They will still have a back four of Riyad, Richards, and Ward. And it's still a decent back three, but you need to take advantage of that. Especially if you've got Somerville, Kudus, Bowen, etc. We need to take advantage of the Palace players missing. 3 points would be huge for Lopetegui's squad's confidence, especially at their ground. And listen, I'm also an objective man. I hate Palace. I hate their fans. I hate Palace fans. But what I will say, their ground is very hard to go and win. They've got a good team and they're building something good. If you watch my Premier League analysis, you will see that I gave them pretty much a lot of praise. I was pretty much speaking objectively on every team. I gave them a lot of praise. I think they're going to do well this season. I even predicted them to finish above us because I think our project will take time and they don't have enough depth. But I said 9th and 10th. But I feel like in the future, we have a bigger future. We have a better future than they do. Just my opinion. And I need to see more from us than just to predict us to finish 6th and 4th, etc. Also, if we don't win against Crystal Palace, whilst they don't have Guehi, Anderson, and dare I say Jordan Ayew because he has that yearly masterclass. Yes, they still have a good team with that front three, the midfield, the wing backs when they're fully fit will be good as well. Dean Henderson shit. So take shots, please. Then we are the howler. If we don't win, I don't want a draw. I'm not accepting a draw. We haven't beaten Palace since we wore this kit, where Lanzini flicked over and banged it in the back of the net. I didn't wear this kit on purpose, by the way. I didn't wear this kit for the Palace thing, by the way, but I just wanted to wear a different fucking shirt. I love Dan Lawless. Yeah, bro, Dan Lawless is the guy, man. Big up to Dan Lawless. And Guehi looks the type to not become distracted despite a move being on the cards. That's what I was saying earlier. He's just got that really level-headed character. Seems very mature for his age. Even Ezri Konsa called him uncle in the England camps, apparently. If Aaron Wan-Bissaka plays and he locks down Eze, that limits their creativity massively. It does. It does as well. I think he will have him because he's had Zaha before. He's strike feared to Zaha, which is the best Palace player that I've seen. And even Zaha knows it because he played with him as well. Like, fuck's sake, it's Wan-Bissaka. That's the biggest positive that Wan-Bissaka has. He strikes fear into his opposition. It's like, oh, fuck's sake, is that Wan-Bissaka? Like Madison's tweeted about it. Sterling has gone on about how Sterling has never had a good game against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And it was always touted over him as you're never going to beat Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Somerville needs to start letting that man cook, especially if that knock isn't serious as well, because then he can still play. And they're going to see tomorrow who's fully fit and stuff as well. I'll try and keep updates on stuff as well. But if you guys want to see my main opinions on the game and stuff, because I won't be able to do a live stream, then go on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at GVOMax because I tweet all the time. Oh, just seen that Ipswich are getting Jack Clark. That's a great signing. That's brilliant. That's class. I've only just seen that now. But hopefully Guehi isn't playing then, because if that report is true, then we've got to take a big advantage. On the inside channel, it's against their 3 centre-backs. You pinned them 1v1, and that's hypothetically a Bowen, a Fulcrook, a Kudus, or a Somerville that's there. 1v1, we should be getting them. And it's not even like Joaquin Anderson was even that good over the past year, but it's just the fact that that still hinders them, even on the ball aspect as well, because on the ball, he's good at passing in between the lines. He's good with the diagonals, etc. as well. And I wouldn't even say Crystal Palace is a bogey team. I would say against Crystal Palace is a chaos game. It's a I don't know what, it's an anomaly where in a season we might do the double over Palace, they might do the double over us, or we might draw twice. Like anything could happen against Palace. That's what's been typically done with our record. But to be honest with you, our past few years against Palace, we haven't won. So we haven't won in 2.5 years. 2.5 years. That 21-22 season where we beat them 3-2, where we should have won 3-0. That was the last time when we beat them. And even then, in the end, became quite dodgy because they were targeting our centre back pair. And if you remember, when we had that Diop Dawson centre back partnership, we couldn't defend how we used to because when we had Ogbono and Zuma for those small period of games, and even Zuma and Dawson for those period of games, we were very hard to beat defensively for that time being in that season until it all changed the next season. But that's because everyone kept getting injured and stuff, and we were struggling very badly with that. But that was the last time we beat them. And we had Rice on the counter, Lanzini on the counter, etc. Even Ben Rama was playing well. We've got Kudus now. We've got Bowen, who's a better Bowen than he's ever been, who only gets better and he's 27, 28. You got new signings. You got Lucas Paquetá, who, listen, he's played twice there before, but is in a whole different setup. You'd hope that we're going to see something different this weekend. You'd hope. But it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that fucking kills you. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing with all of that. Like, I don't know what their manager said in their press conference. I'm not particularly interested, but with them as well, they're dangerous in all aspects of the pitch as well. They're very hard to beat. They keep it very organized, and with that, we've struggled before with Kamada and Glasner before. Joel, I went through this earlier in the video, bro, but I will take you through it now. Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Tadibo, again, no shit, not again, Jesus Christ. Kilman, Emerson. I put Ward-Prowse in there instead of 28, and then I put Rodriguez and Paquetá as the midfield. If not, then I'd put Paquetá and Kudus in the midfield and play Somerville on the left, but then I'd say Kudus, Bowen, Fulcrook as the front three, but I don't really want to see Fulcrook on I don't really want to see Kudus on the left, ideally, if I'm being 100% honest with you, but that would be my ideal lineup. Like either Somerville or Ward-Prowse instead of 28, and we switch it around with whatever makes sense. But I would just play our best attackers and get onto teams as well. It's just with that boxing midfield, I understand in this instance why you wouldn't play all of those creative players within that team. Because you've got to figure out off the ball as well. My problem is as well, Joe, I'm going to get into it. Let me go through a couple of your comments. Big up to Deck as well. Big up to yourself. Hope you're doing well. Dougie Freeman has done a top job for Palace. He has. We went through it just like 5 minutes ago. Like, that guy deserves a pay rise for some of the signings he's brought in over the past few years. I think we beat Palace, hopefully. I hope so, bro. Yeah. Listen, I think the majority of the people in the chat have agreed with pretty much the same lineup or a similar lineup. And I feel like we've got the balance if we've got that back four anyway, as Damien said earlier in the chat. And with that, with how they play as well, we struggled before because I remember when we came up against Frankfurt for the first time, and that was the first leg. I remember someone saying on Twitter that, it stuck with me because I never watched Frankfurt. They said they are organized, they are defensively organized, but they suffocate you with the press. And they had, if you remember that team, they had Kamada. I think they had Borre up front, who was the Colombian guy. They had Kostic, who was the standout for me. And they had Sal. They had Evan and Dicker as well. They had Kevin Trapp in goal as well. Those were the stand-up players. And Kudus at right wing back, who scored the early goal in the first leg. They would suffocate you, but they were so balanced. They were so balanced because they just picked us out. Now, I think Moyes' setup was actually right in the first leg. If you guys remember that, where he put Fornals to match up with their right wing back off the ball, so it became we pretty much match up with them man to man, which is how we did the best against three at the back at that time. But as soon as they scored, he could not set up that way. He couldn't set up that way as soon as they scored because we had to come out. But the problem is because the only problem with that matching up there with their wing back was putting Fornals and Cresswell on the same line. Back post, that was always going to be a problem. But the way they play is like Palace are like a less polished version of that. And we've seen it when they battered us. And listen, I was at work when they battered us in that game, so I couldn't watch the game. But I knew we were going to lose, so that's why I chose to work on that day. I didn't even need to work on that day. but I knew we were going to lose. So I was like, fuck this. I am not watching Moyes ball for the rest of the season. Let me go. And we got battered because he didn't have an answer. He still didn't have an answer. And then he changed to a three in the back like he always does when he gets battered for the back end of the season. We've got to have an answer for that. And I'm going to get into where Lopetegui could go wrong or right within his tactics in just a minute. Let me go through your comments again. Big ups to Deckers again. Hey, I'm Mike. I'm doing good. Thank you. Hope you are doing good. Likewise, I'm doing well. Thank you. Yeah, that game was painful. Moyes did not have an answer for that. He did learn from the first leg. That's the thing in the second leg as well. We all know who let us down. We don't. I'm not going to go through Aaron Cresswell nonsense again. But yeah, we did not have an answer for that. The problem is we're going man to man as well. With that is when they dropped deep, we left space behind, and we did not have the pace because the back three was pretty much Cresswell, Zuma, and Dawson, and there is no pace in that back three. Now with the signings that we have now, if we was to go man to man now, you'd hope that Kilman and Sadiba are more than used to playing in the high line with alongside Wan-Bissaka and Emerson as well. That we've got, they're not the quickest, but they're not the quickest either. They haven't got quick players. Mitchell is probably their fastest in the front five that they line up with because the wing backs will be a front five when they're in possession. I think Steiner likes that formation, 3-4-3. I think that's why he wanted Amorim. I think, yeah, and also because remember he was at Leverkusen, wasn't he? He was at with Xavi Alonso. I think ideally he would have wanted to bring Alonso with him, but I think he knew that was unrealistic because, despite the fact that he left Leverkusen, he knew what kind of club he was leaving behind. I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think that's why Amorim was the first one. That was the ideal one. That was the ambitious one. The problem is as well, like he also wanted a Stuttgart manager, but he just had a new deal, so it didn't make any sense. I don't know what formation Stuttgart play, but I almost think he's going to be the future manager of this club, the Stuttgart manager. I think that's the manager we'd go for next if this wasn't to work out. But I'm hoping with this 4-3-3 that we should play, that we could go for it. And this is where Lopetegui could go wrong or right with his tactics. When you set up against that formation and you play the way Lopetegui plays, where did Lopetegui go wrong in the Villa game? Is where Jacob Ramsey and Maatsen came on. Now, the reason why that was such a big pivotal moment in the game is because throughout the second half, they were getting too comfortable with the ball. Now, we were getting in our moments, but we was for some reason letting them too much. And they was doing the same shitty press as he was doing in the first half where we weren't pressing from the front. We were only pressing in midfield. But they pinned us back so much. And also Duran as well. But the reason why I'm specifically going at that left-hand side in terms of Maatsen and Ramsey is because Digne was already on the pitch and Ramsey came on before Maatsen. And what was happening was Vladimir Sufa was tucking in too much to man mark Ramsey all the time, leaving that gap in between the right centre back and Jared Bowen, who was pretty much told to you got to mark the left back. I think he was given. I think Sufa, when I look back, he was given enough help for me. He was given enough help. Bowen was there. The problem was Sufa was getting too tight, which was allowing Mavropanos to get too tight, which has allowed the chance for Duran to run in behind and shoot the ball into the side netting the first time before he scored the eventual goal. Now, the problem is with this formation is that as Digne was playing a wing back, we're coming up against two wing backs against two attackers in the spaces with the striker up front. So we're going to have to, he's either going to go mark with 5 players again and tell Bowen to man mark and help Emerson, or Kudus is going to do the opposite job. He probably believes more in Bowen's tracking back than he does with Kudus is, which I don't think we should do. I think we should be pressing higher so we don't get them in that situation in the first place, or we just mark zonally off the ball anyway. So we just mark the spaces where they can pass. Or you just put it on them. You just put it on them aggressive. You've got to be aggressive because, as I said earlier, if you don't press from the front, you let them go in midfield. They've got enough pressure resistant midfield and a good enough wing backs on the ball. And the number 10's that Kamada's going to drop deeper to make a 3-man midfield at times as well. So if you go man to man, that will just drag out that gap and they will just run in behind. These are the situations that they will be looking at. The problem is where it went wrong with that Villa situation is they scored from that situation with Bowen and Sufal too tight and Duran then scoring. That's the thing, like on the ball, I think we'd be fine, but that's the thing you got. He's going to be too pragmatic and not play the 3 ball playing centre midfielders because he's going to be scared of their box in midfield in possession with the two number 10s and the two centre mids. That's the problem I have. This is why I lead on to where I think it will go wrong is that I think Lopetegui is going to be too pragmatic. Now he has that sense of he wants to keep it balanced between him having his philosophy and him having his pragmatism coming alongside with him as well. But I think that's almost going to be the downfall of him. Now you can switch it up and you can tweak things during games, but you don't need to be completely pragmatic. We need to be making teams worried about us. We need to be making teams worried about us. And that's where it's going to go wrong for me. That's where it's going to go wrong. He's going to be too pragmatic and he's going to allow them to get comfortable in the game. I don't care if it's away from home because we played like an away team in our home game. We didn't play like the home team. Now, it didn't help that we conceded an early corner from the game anyway. But come on, let's be serious. Like, we didn't play like a home team. We let them dictate the ball away from home with just their goalkeeper, which is what Aston Villa want to do away from home. To waste time. People are going to complain about the time wasting. Don't let them time waste. Be aggressive and be precise with your press. Don't let Pau Torres walk through you. He's a brilliant ball playing centre back. But don't let him walk through you like that. And it's not like Pau Torres is this physically imposing centre back anyway. We didn't test him enough. When they defend, you put it on him. Get Fulcrum, get Antonio, get Bowen on the channel. Get anyone on them. And drag the player out. That's the thing with their centre backs now. Chadi Riyad is going to probably play his first game. Give him a good welcome to the Premier League type game. Give Chris Richards something to think about. If Anderson and Gueye are both out, then Joel Ward is going to play. So get Kudus on Joel Ward immediately, not on Munoz. Get Kudus on Joel Ward. Get him on the inside channel. Get Emerson hugging the touchline. If it's Wan-Bissaka playing, get him just staying back with the three and let Bowen take on either Mitchell or Riyad 1v1. Because Bowen's capable of that. Just let Wan-Bissaka stay in and tuck in a bit, make it a back three and whatever. And then you got Rodriguez to collect the ball, etc., from the defence and play through. That's how we should be setting up. That's how we should be setting up overall. Three in possession. With Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, and Kilman there. So it allows Kilman to have better angles with the ball with his passing ability. It allows Todibo just to keep it calm in between the two centre-backs as well. I thought Max had a good debut for you against Aston Villa. Yeah, I did as well. I thought he was the main positive of the game. I think he was doing everything that a defender should do. Like, intercepted. He handled Leon Bailey very well. Question, how do you think, or how would you like Noble's role to evolve at the club? Yeah, we discussed this before. Like, I think with Noble's role, I would like him just to stay as the almost connector between the first team academy and the recruitment team as he's doing. Because that's almost what he's been evolving as his role, really. I think he needs to keep a big eye on the academy because I think he knows what it takes for a young player to develop. And I think he's become a big, almost not instigator, influence in terms of how young players will have a future and develop at this club. And I think he sees something in some of the young players in terms of their character that he knows that some of them will make it. If you listen to some of the things he said about Earthy and Orford in the past, I think within the first team as well, he needs to be that connected towards the first team where he needs to have still have an attitude of a player in a sense because he's only just retired, where he can help players that haven't been here before settle in. Like, you can tell off camera, he already has a great relationship with people like Lucas Paquetá, who had just signed, whilst he's never played with Noble. He never played with Noble, but it's like they're mates as well. Like, Zuma will still call him skipper because he still feels like a skipper to the whole squad. And because he was always his skipper as well. And it's still like the actual captains here, once they step in, he has a great relationship with existing players that he's already played with here. He needs to help players settle in. And I think almost if Aaron Cresswell's going to stay at this club, he needs to help with that as well, even though they probably can't understand him. But with the players that have stayed at for as long as they have at the club, they will need to be the main help of players that need help settling in. I hope Guilherme is settling in well. People like that, people like Todibo as well, that will settle in. Everyone else has played in England, I'm pretty sure. Well, Rodriguez as well. Everyone else has played in England. I actually know Fulcrum. Okay, we haven't actually signed how many players that played in England as I thought we have, but you know what I mean with that as well. And also being a helping hand in the recruitment as the technically the director of football role, which have a say in that because he was the one that found Alvarez, that told us to sign Alvarez and Kudus, him and Rob Newman. So he was a big part in that. So he despite him not being the greatest Premier League midfielder or anything, his role can still evolve in all three of those aspects. He needs to have a big voice at the club. He needs to be one of the main off the pitch voices at the club. Him, Tim, Kenny Brown, and the recruitment staff, and Colton Cole. They need to be the main voices off the pitch at the club. And I think that's what's happening. I think we're seeing a good structure of the pitch. I think we're seeing that in between the academy staff, the main staff, and the Stidens of the world of the club as well. I think we're seeing that with everyone, and I think that's how it should be. But that's how I'd like to see his role evolve. Really, it's kind of around that aspects, because he kind of like he wanted to be more involved with the club anyway. Because I'm pretty sure when he got promised his role, he wasn't initially happy with it, because there was rumors of him leaving straight away. If people remember that at the start of 2023, but as time kept going on, his role became more involved with the club. So he's more involved with the academy, more involved with the transfer recruitment, and more involved with being the connector of the off the pitch and on the pitch sort of stuff as well, helping players settle in. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like as well, like if you remember, like I don't want to bring his name back up, but Lingard, when Lingard came into the club and he was going through a rough patch, etc., Noble came in to collect, with pretty much was one of the first people to talk with him. And he was like, "No phones here. We talk. We talk. We don't go on our phone in journeys, etc. Put your phone on. We talk to each other." It's just little things to help people settle into the club. Talk. Want to get to know you. Forget your phone, bruv. Like, and that's how young players will gain their character as well. You can see, like, for example, like the Earthies and Caseys, their characters will go a long way. The Kadoras of this world as well. Very humble person from what I've seen. Like Marshall as well. Levi Lang's of the past as well. I know Levi Lang. I don't know where he is now. I don't know whether he's out on loan or anything. Don't think he'll make it at the club. But these are the kind of humble youngsters that have trained with the first team for a reason, because they have a willingness and an attitude to try, and an attitude to be ambitious within the squad as well. But I'm glad he's still with the club in pretty much most first team aspects and youngster aspects and academy aspects and transfer aspects. Like, that is ideal for me. That is very ideal. I'm going to go through some Crystal Palace news real quick to see if there's anything that I can study within the game coming up, just to see if there's anything that I have missed, because it could be important. It could be important with what's going on right now. There is nothing that I haven't said already. I don't know. They've linked Palace to fucking Raheem Sterling. It just doesn't make any sense. But I don't know whether that's reliable or not. But all right, let's get the last thing. Everyone in the comments, everyone that's in the chat, put your final predictions in. I'm not confident. I'm not confident. You're not gonna like me. I'm thinking with my head and not my heart here. I think we lose like 3-1. Just me being honest, I'm not confident, because I feel like I know what lineup is gonna be put out there. Just because I feel like I know what lineup's gonna be put out there, I think we're gonna lose like 3-1. I don't see us winning. At best, I see us drawing, and I wouldn't be happy with that. I wouldn't be happy with 1 point in the first 3 games. But put your score predictions in, people, and I don't know whether we'll end it there. We'll see. We might keep going, but this will have to be my last stream for the past couple of days, and I do want to stream more, but I'm out. I'm out on a trip, so put your score predictions in for Crystal Palace West Ham United. It's going to be interesting to see what people are feeling, whether it's still positive or negative, because I know a lot of you were confident, because we were all positive against in a trade against Aston Villa. Really, like we were pretty much like, okay, it's new season, new players, whatever, new era, first home game of the season. Let's get straight into them, almost, sort of thing. But that didn't really work out, and I wasn't really confident anyway. I said 1-1, but I'm naturally pessimistic anyway. Just my opinion. But yeah, I'd say 3-1. 3-1 for me. I don't want to say 3-1, but I don't think we're gonna beat Palace away from home. and they're going to want to bounce back as much as us as well. Big up to the Villa fan as well. I hope you're well as well. Big up to subscribing. Nah, it's all right, bro. It's all right, bro. I'm probably gonna end the stream soon, but you can go back and rewatch it, mate. Go back and rewatch it on playback and stuff. Well, play it back. But big up to yourself as well. But we need, as much as we need to bounce back from the Villa game, they need to bounce back for the Brentford game as well. So going back to their fans and their atmosphere, they're still very positive. They'll take it as almost a slap on the wrist sort of thing that they lost the first game. No, not at all. I predicted like a 3-1 loss. I literally just predicted it now, mate. Like a 3-1 loss, just because like Palace as well is very. I've not been confident for the past couple of years going there. I wasn't even confident with the last time we won there. When we beat them 3-2, I wasn't even confident then. All those years ago. I said we got to get through that just to get through in the top 4 race. The good days where we're in top 4 races and stuff. But still came 7th in that season. But past couple of seasons we've been battered. We've conceded 9 goals in our last 2 visits there, but they were under David Moyes. I think you're winning. The positive is Palace could lose the centre-half partnership. They could, but Addison's pretty much gone. And I know Gay. We talked about this earlier. We pretty much Gay could get the deal done over the weekend. That's the thing. I don't think he will be dropped. That's my problem. But as I said earlier, I've repeated it many times. I've got PTSD from the previous manager, where I know that players played bad and they still keep their place. So we're going to see about that. But I still think he'll play. He can't play. He can't play. I'm sorry. He cannot play in this system. He cannot play in this style of football. And I don't want him to play for this club. And that's why he's going off to Carlos Soler. That's why we're interested in another player that wants to play alongside Alvarez, etc., or needs to play alongside Alvarez to complement, the CDM centre mid partnership. That's my worry, and that's my point going into it. If I look at my phone and I see the same similar patterns, even if it's the back 4 that I want of the whole new signings, pretty much Wan-Bissaka, Tadibo, Kilman, and Emerson, that's going to be my problem. Is even the midfield wouldn't make up for the fact that, the defense wouldn't make up for the fact that Rodriguez is having Suchek next to him, number 28 next to him. Because that just hinders everything for me. It hinders all the ball playing ability that we can squeeze out on our side. The distribution of the ball straight to the attackers. The attackers can't thrive if there's just an extra beanpole next to a striker. I know it's a fresh start, but I don't feel too confident in Lopetegui anymore after Wolves. I don't really take the Wolves thing into it, just because even though I was not initially confident with the appointment anyway, because I just thought we took the cheap option. That was my initial thing. I thought we just took the cheap option. That's my thing. But my thing is with the Wolves situation, they were in a relegation battle, so I understood the way he played then. They needed to get out. To be fair, though, the reason why Wolves fans hate him is because he walked out and said that they needed more investment. But Gary O'Neill got the best out of them. But at the same time, Gary O'Neill can only get so much out of them. Now they're complaining about investment. So technically, Lopetegui was kind of right in that situation. But they don't like Lopetegui, fair enough. No, I agree. 2 different teams. Yeah. Also, this is a way better squad. He actually has less excuses than he did at Wolves. Because we're meant to be a whole new project. You've been given a whole new chance. You've been waiting for a Premier League job ever since he left. He's been staying in England pretty much. He did an interview with Sky after he left Wolves, after he was linked with the Nottingham Forest job, be like, yeah, I've been waiting for a team in England. And then Steve Cooper got sacked, and then Nuno picked the job to him, because I don't know whether he rejected it or anything, but they should have. I even said then they should have gone after Lopetegui. This West Ham team now, the West Ham team he has now should be European quality. Yes, facts. We should, with your format, bro. You've got the manager. For me, you've got the basic spine to take you to Europe, and you've got the manager to get the best out of that can tweak it tactically whilst keeping his principles. That's the format that you set out, and you're going to do well again with that by trying to get top 4, etc. Okay. If you get UCL Europa League out of it, then that's fantastic. Honestly, I take any Europe. I take Conference League. I just want Europe. Don't get me wrong. My standard is literally just Europe. Am I expecting it first season? No, I'm not expecting it first season, because I know it's going to take time, but I'm not expecting severe underachievement. I expect to see things that I want to see on the pitch that I can take confidence into going into next season, where I can feel like, yeah, we're going to finish in Europe next season. That's what I want to see. I'm being nice, but if I see severe underachievement and reasons for me to not be positive and to not be patient within the early parts of the regime, then I'm going to be less. Then I'm going to be less patient, in my opinion. Like just for me, I think he and his team need to isolate. I think he and his team need to not isolate themselves. Lopetegui, he needs to listen to the likes of Noble and Bone, etc. He needs to be in touch with the senior players of the team, doesn't he? Like he needs to pretty much know how to get the best out of his players anyway. That's the thing as well. Like the whole squad is so much happier with this manager that he needs to almost back it up with all the talk that's been going on around Rush Green. Monchi and Emery look really close as well. Standard Lopetegui relationship looks a bit more forced. Yeah, in comparison, it's very new as well. So I know what you mean. So we'll look into that. I guess we'll look into that a bit more close. But that's the thing. But like, Standard picked him. So he like I love Standard, best window we've had, but he picked him. So he's got to lie on it. He's got to die on that sword, man. But I trust him to pick a better manager for the future. Like when you think of it, Tadibo was an unreal out of the blue signing, even though it's a loan. That's the thing; it'll be an obligation to buy after he plays 5 games, though. So, Fulcrook is interesting. Kilman's decent. Somerville was a baller, and Webber-Second's solid defender. He's got all the tools. He's got all the balance, hasn't he? He's got when you look at it from the bigger picture, the way you painted it out as well, and the way we see it overall, he's pretty much got all the balance, hasn't he? I agree, Damien. When you and your sporting director are close, that's always a good sign. Yeah, because everyone's in the same direction. What I'm happy about is that they're in the same direction, really. Like, I don't know whether their relationship is as tight, but they are in the same direction as that. Lopetegui wants this amount of players. He wants to be backed. Standard's got to back him. Lopetegui wants competition. Standard's got to back him in terms of that as well. He's still trying to get Carlos Soler over the line. Another loan with an obligation to buy that. Hopefully we can get done. Obviously, it depends on player sales, whether we can get that done as well, but cool, whatever. Cool, whatever. But that's my thing as well. Like, he has been backed. I get that it would take time to integrate the players in, but you've got to play the players. I'm not trying to put up with the same regime as I did with the previous manager, where Moyes would sign players or would approve signings and not play them. Tadibo, though, will be very good. I can see him being a nominee for Defender of the Season in the Prem. I hope so. He needs to play. You reckon he starts strong this weekend? Maybe. I don't think we'll win the game, to be honest. I don't think the setup is going to be right. I think the setup is going to be the same as against Hughes, which I don't think was good enough. With Souček used as a second striker pretty much, and 28 used as a second striker, sorry. And yeah, it will be a back four. The back four that I wanted, but it won't be the midfield that I wanted, and it'll pretty much... I almost think it's going to be the same front three. I actually think Antonio might start again. But I think Fulcrook should start this game. But even if Fulcrook performs bad, you criticize him. But I don't think he should be written off. That's just my thing with new signings, and this goes for every signing that hasn't played in the Prem already. The Tadibos, even the some of us that haven't really played in the Prem that much, and what's his name, Rodriguez as well. That's just my thing. Even if Guilherme plays as well, that's same energy with him. I think Guilherme will play more when Kudus or Paquetá leave. But I just want people to be given a chance. That's just my thing. Because that's why a lot of West Ham signings flop. Because we write them off. We write them off. Not necessarily the fans, even though the fans do write them off. The manager will write them off as well. Only question I have: if no more come in the door, is Fulcrook versus Antonio. I'm not trying to hear Sally again. I'll tell you what a style of play, so because Antonio use. That's my thing is with that. Fulcrook hasn't played in this league, so I'm gonna still allow him to settle in. That was my only negative, was you can't sign a 31-year-old and like he's gonna have to settle in still, but you signed him at 31, so by the time he settles in, he's gonna be 32. That was my thing. And I don't like the Antonio haters, because my problem with Antonio haters is a bit more than that. My problem with Antonio haters is people talk about his attitude and stuff like that. But Aaron Cresswell is called a good servant at the club. and he's been there for a long time, and he refused to train to push a move to Wolves. That's my thing. And they don't keep the same energy with other long-term players in the club. My thing is with Fulkrug, I think he needs to be given a run, give him a run, and give him the season, and give him the service. That was because the reason why I'm doing this is because, again, I'm nice to strikers, but it's also with Skamaka as well. Yes, he was younger, but he never got the service. Never got the service. Never got a chance to settle in either, and he didn't settle in. But we didn't give him the right environment to settle in, which is why he left to go back to Italy. With Haller, when he was with Moyes, he didn't fit into the system. We were good then, though. We were good then, so I get it. But we didn't sign anyone to replace him. We didn't sign anyone to replace him, so that's a bit different. I get Haller didn't fit Moyes' thing, and we were good then, but we needed to sign someone to help Antonio. Antonio didn't get any help. Within when he was playing under Moyes. I see Fulkrug, Tadibo, Wan-Bissaka, Rodriguez starting. I see Tadibo, Wan-Bissaka, Rodriguez guarantee starting. Fuck knows if Fulkrug's going to start. I don't know. We're still trying to sign Gita Reader right now. Really hope we get him. I'm still praying. That'll be good. From what I hear of him, I only really know him from Football Manager, but from real life, I think the people that watch the league say he's really good. And from what I know, he's a versatile player across the back four. So he'll probably suit your system quite well. And I know he can play centre back and right back as well. I know you guys need a centre back, so you guys have got your recruitment pretty much spot on, apart from a couple of signings. So you can't get everything right, but for the most part, your manager's been able to get the best out of players that he has, even with players that would be deemed as mediocre in other environments. Emery is the guy to squeeze that out of the players. Even Eddie Howe's done that with certain players at Newcastle as well. That's what I want Lopetegui to do with us. I want managers that can get more out of what they are. You know what I mean? That's how Eddie Howe got his what's it called? Got his job from Bournemouth. Why he did so well at Bournemouth is because they were League One players. A lot of them were from League One. He got them into mid-table positions. Managers that squeeze more out of what they are for them to become better is perfect. That's exactly what Unai Emery does as well. Because a lot of them players were deemed as shit under Gerrard and Dean Smith, but they weren't shit. No one's going to believe me, by the way. No one's going to believe me. But I was on the Douglas Luiz train from time ago. From when he was playing under Gerrard and Dean Smith, I was calling him this guy a great player from a long time ago. I liked him. And then under Emery, he proved himself that he's got to move to Juventus. I hear all of that, Mike. Reminds me of Aaron Wan-Bissaka a bit. Well, that's interesting. If Villa sign him, I'm interested to see what he does. And listen, Aston Villa are the perfect example of letting their players settle in, helping their players settle in when they've just joined the league and having all the tools around them. And they can play off each other. It's a bit different where a Diaby would go to Saudi, but they still made money off that, I think. They still got their similar price back or whatever. So that's an anomaly, but Pau Torres got a year to settle in and he showed his quality. That's just an example. I'm not expecting new signings that this is the thing. I'm not doing this with just Fulkrug or anyone like that. I am nicer to strikers. I've said this before, but even if Tadibo, even if he performs bad, if Rodriguez performs bad, they've come from a different league. I'm going to give you a chance. I was the same with Aged. I was the same with Paquetá. I was the same with Kudus. I was the same with Souček when he came in. The reason why I'm so nice to people in their first season as well is because when Thomas Souček had his first season, he gassed me and then it kind of fell down from there, but that was due to circumstances and maybe other things as well. But I won't overgas a player first season as well. That's why I don't do as well. I keep the same energy. That's what I want to maintain throughout this channel is keeping the same energy. So when a new signing does so well within the first season, I'm not going to overgas them either. I'm not going to overgas it. I'm just going to be like, I'm very happy with what they're doing, and let's hope they can continue with it. Once you show me 2 seasons of something that's really good, then I'm good. Then I might overgas you. I might be shameless. But yeah, he can play 4 different positions. Yeah. I heard he can play across the back 4 midfield, I think. A lot of Villa fans call him for a Cash replacement. He also is injury prone and needs composition. Yeah, that's the thing I like Matty Cash. He had a dodgy game against Kudus, but I do like him overall. And to be fair, he does pick up quite a few injuries. And also, we did see Ezri Konsa play at right back a little bit. over the past few seasons. I know that was sometimes a 3 in possession and Cash on the right and stuff like that, but it was also Konza played well there as well. I'm shamelessly gassed over Kudus. I hear that though. Like Kudus is special. Damien Kudus is special, so I hear that. I think Emery will use him if we get him. He will be an inverted fullback where he pushes into a DM or maybe cover for defense. That's the thing as well. You might do the thing where he might tuck into a 3 in possession. I think that's what Emery looks like he's going to go for anyway, where he wants his right back to be almost an extra centre back, and then you got Matson and Digne. Like they are so good going forward. It will just allow them just to bomb on. Like and by the way, please beat Arsenal on Saturday. I'm begging you, please beat Arsenal again at Villa Park. Like that would make me slightly happier. Again, I'm not going to be able to watch that game. I'm actually gutted. I'm not going to be able to watch that game. But please beat Arsenal. I'm begging so much. Do you know what? Fuck it. Should we go? Should we do score predictions again? Like we probably don't have enough people in here to do score predictions. But if I was going to do a score prediction for the whole game week, then we might do that another time as well. But listen, let me have a look if there's any news that I've missed out on. Yeah, I noticed against West Ham he tried to invert the roles with Digne, Matson, and Cash. Yeah, so I think Matson and Digne are pretty much going to become like an extra attacker, pretty much like hugging the touchline for you lot. And then if he sided that Gita Raider guy, him and Konza might be the right back options for the long term future. And Matty Cash could play that as well, but he'll have in bigger games as well. I think that's what he's signing him for. He's almost evolving his own system, which is good to see. And Juan Foyth was a guy at Villarreal who played that similar role when he was playing in that system as well, but he was still driving forward in possession. He wants that that right-sided defender where they could go forward when they're under pressure driving with the ball and then break into midfield almost, rather than being the guy who hugs the touchline and trying to cross the ball, etc. as well. Agreed, George. I agree. Mate, so nervous. This might be the game we lose. Sure, I wouldn't be surprised if you lose against Arsenal. It's still Arsenal at the end of the day, but just please beat them. You will give them a game as well. I don't think they're as good as they think they are. But their defense is mad. Like it's going to be a good clash of styles as well. Cash not as much. He's more attacking. Oh yeah, of course. Like not going to be able to play the role as good as Konza and Gita Reyna. Konza's from East London. Yeah, unfortunately though, he was a Tottenham fan growing up. I remember seeing him and Courtney House were both from East London. God, I'm still seeing posts about our previous manager. Fuck off. Yeah, their defense will be stronger now with Calafiori and Timber. My thing is that anyway, it wasn't even that. It's just their centre back partnership. Like Watkins will be the guy to test that, because once they get taken down the channels, you just need to take them. You just need to take them down the channels and get the ball at the edge of the box for someone to score. That's how you guys pretty much played against them last season. Get Leon Bailey on their left. But if they play Zinchenko against you lot, you're winning the game. You will win the game if they play Zinchenko. Whatever happened to Courtney House? I don't know where he is now. I don't know where he is. I think he was. I want to say Watford or some shit, but I could be wrong. He must have left. Villa fan, you wouldn't know. What happened to Courtney House? I've not missed any news to do with West Ham. I've not missed any news, so I've pretty much caught up on all of the news. We'll go for 10 more minutes, and then I'll probably end it there. I've seen the whole stuff with Jermaine Genius as well. That was. I don't even remember we were linked with him. I don't remember when that was, but I mean, we were. Oh fuck! Everton are exploring deals to sign Carlos Sola. 27-year-old has been on their list. Oh, it's just on their list. They want to sell Sola. No plans about a straight loan. I think. Oh, he's just injured. Oh, he's still at your club. Fucking hell! I didn't even know he's still there. I know he suffered with injuries in the past, but yeah, man. I didn't know he was still there at your club. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. I hope he gets well soon, man. Another man from East London. yeah, I've pretty much caught up all the news. Caught up all the news. I'll answer a few more questions, and I'll probably end the stream. It's not part of our 25 man though. He's most likely going to get contract terminated and leave in the Prem. Yeah, I didn't expect him to even play a part still because of the players you have already, especially if Tyron Mings is going to come back from injury this year. Pardon me, Diego Carlos is still at your club as well. I don't know if he's in the plans, but he's still there. Uh, yeah, I didn't know he was still there either, Damien. Not gonna lie, I thought he moved. But I think I'm playing too much Football Manager. I just see him move all the time. But yeah, I'm not confident with the game. I'm not confident, but I'm hoping when I get my score updates, I see a win. And I'm hoping we're on game of the day, so then I can record the game through my Sky Go app, and then I can watch it back when I get home. Yeah, Mings will be back September. Carlos should have left. To be fair, fair enough. Fair enough. I know Fulham pulled out the race, and then they got Anderson. I don't know who else is interested in Carlos. Is Carlos shit then? Do you guys just find Carlos shit? Or just the manager not like him? Do you guys just need something better? Is the key to Raider thing to do with Diego Carlos also as well? I'm gonna assume it is. West Ham need a Carlos law. Clearly, you don't rate him that much if you're offering him to us. But from what I've seen of him, I thought he was all right. But maybe I'm wrong. But he also had an injury and then came in, and it was just like, we spent the money already, bruv. We spent the money already. We were never going to bid 40 million. We had a limit. And yes, it came back to bite us, but I don't think you guys would have sold him to us before that game anyway. I think you guys were waiting until after that game so we could get him after, but I don't think we were going to wait until then to get a striker. That was the thing. I think that was the thing that really, really had the whole situation in limbo. And listen, people, listen, we will see. We will see. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I do think he's a good player. And I've had multiple people in, like, whether it's YouTubers or people in the chat telling me about the run. Listen, I get it. I get it. They are linked to Samu as well. They are linked to Samu. Listen, I get it. I get it. Everyone still wants to run. I get it, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. So it's just circumstances, guys, as well. That you got to understand the market of the strikers at times as well. Like, I'm happy with what we have, but I would have preferred a younger striker. But yeah, yeah, I think there was some form of medical problem. I think they changed something within the contract, and then they tweaked something in the contract or some shit. Do you know it was image rights? Do you know what it was? It was image rights as well. It was image rights. I remember seeing something about image rights, and that broke down the contract. I don't know whether that was true, but it was something to do with personal terms, as Damien says. That's the thing. I've heard some good things about Samu, but I've also heard terrible things about Samu. Yeah, image rights. Image rights. Because I don't remember what the details were, but it's something to do with his image rights, which joy is we get so much access to the information to do with football and transfers and general things to do with football that we would never ever talk about this stuff before social media. Like, before a year ago, I don't think I even heard the term image rights. I don't think I even heard the term of it. No, it wasn't Sullivan. To be fair, Sullivan's shit, but he's not even to do with the transfers anymore. To be fair, George. Sammy will be good though. I hear he's a Drogba region, but we'll see if we get. I mean, literally every big striker in the past 10 years has been called a Drogba region. Unplayable in 2 years. Fair enough. I've not watched him, to be fair, so I can't speak too much about him. But yeah, it is what it is. I know we were I know we had a bid rejected for him as well, but I don't know whether he was worth that money as well. But I do like the fact that the way we've worked this transfer window. I think we have what's it called? We've done it well. We've done the strategy well because we haven't spent as much as has been put out there. Like, that's the funny part, and we're using the funds well. We get to actually pay more next season because not only will yes people are going to be like, but you paid the Tadiba money next season. Yes, but player sales are going to happen next season. Player sales are happening next season, which we'll be able to replace. And we're running the club to an extent where we will never ever suffer with FFP problems, really. will never really suffer with FFP problems because we're not overspending and we've got an actual structure. And Sullivan won't let that happen because the guy's literally a money man. Samu is very big though. He looks like a Haaland type built striker. He looks the closest thing out there to Haaland. I mean, fair enough, man. Fair enough. Like, can't argue with that. But I'm gonna probably wait. The only problem is with Samu is he will want to start. Nobody started for Watkins unless we turn him into a winger. That's the thing. You don't even sign a striker and then turn him into a winger because then you've got there's just nothing in the end. But you're gonna have to sign someone that's gonna have to be happy with playing as a squad player because Watkins is there. And when Watkins gets back to his normal self, because he's only just come back and he didn't have any pre-season after coming back from England, then he's going to be on fire again. And he's going to come in with all types of confidence after that Netherlands goal. First year professional football leading the line in La Liga. That's very impressive, to be fair. It's very impressive because it's clearly been fast-tracked, clearly highly thought of. Samu's better off going somewhere he starts. Yeah, I don't know who would be after him now. Well, Premier League wise, I don't know who would get him. Who would get him now? But somewhere abroad, maybe somewhere abroad. Like, I'm sure someone's looking for a striker that's like a big team abroad. He's not going to get playtime at Atletico anymore because not only have they planned to sell him, they've got Alvarez and Soloff and carry this side. Anyways, good night, everyone. Good luck at the weekend. I'm going to end it there as well. Big up to everyone as well. Go on to the community page and ask me a question for the 500 subscriber Q&A. Go on to that on that specific post to ask a question for the 500 subscriber Q&A. They will be answered next Tuesday, where I have the chance to do the Q&A. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. And the email for the inquiries for the road to 1,000 subscribers. Big up to Damien. Big up to George. Big up to the Villa fan. Big up to everyone that's contributed within the video, within the stream. I'll see you guys on Monday. See you later.